afternoon, everyone. Good to see you here tonight at our City Commission meeting. As we get started and I call this meeting to order, I'm going to ask you to join me for a moment of silence, and then I'll move to Pledge of Allegiance. We do have an interpreter here tonight. I'll introduce them momentarily right after roll call. So if you join me for a moment of silence. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we will do roll call.
Commissioner O'Connor.
Present.
Commissioner Asasi.
Present.
Commissioner Knight.
Present.
Commissioner Perdue.
Present.
Commissioner Robbins.
Present.
Commissioner Goey.
Present.
Mayor Bliss.
Yes, thank you. So tonight we have a couple opportunities for public comment. So let me walk you through our agenda tonight. We do have a full agenda. We had a number of items we voted on earlier at standing committee meetings. So we have the first opportunity for public comment, which I'll open up in just a moment, and that is public comment on agenda items. So these are items that we talked about earlier today in one of our standing committee meetings that are on our agenda tonight. So I'll walk you through a couple of expectations for that. We ask people to come forward, share their name, share the city that you live in. You'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak. And on this first opportunity for public comment, I'll ask you to be really explicit about what agenda item that you want to speak to. We do have a scheduled public hearing tonight. So we have a scheduled public hearing related to a development at 2 Fulton Street West. And that's for 2 items. One is a commercial redevelopment district and a commercial facilities exemption certificate. And this is for a project named Bamboo. If you are here tonight to speak on that project, I'm going to ask you to stay put until I open up that public comment period. We'll have our Director of Economic Development, Sarah Ranero, who's here. There she is. She'll come up. She'll give a brief overview. We'll ask the folks who are related to that project to come up, say a few words. And then if you're here to be heard on that item, I'll open up the public hearing after that. And then the last opportunity for public comment tonight is at the end of our agenda, and that is on any other item that you wish to speak to. So with that, we do have an interpreter with us tonight. If you need assistance with interpretation services, please let us know, and we are happy to be of assistance. So, hi, welcome.
Good evening. My name is Crystal. I'm here to provide public comment if needed. So if you need my assistance in Spanish, so if you need my assistance, don't hesitate to ask me. Buenas noches, mi nombre es Cristal. Estoy aquí para brindar interpretación en español. Si necesitan de mi asistencia, por favor no duden en pedir mi ayuda.
Thank you. All right, so that will take us to our City Manager?
Yeah, before we go, Mayor, we have quite a few people here again tonight, and just wanted to make the public aware that those who are downstairs, there is a television so they can monitor, and we have security and the fire marshal monitoring the capacity of the room and letting people up and down as needed.
Thank you, City Manager. Okay, so with that, I'll open up the first opportunity for public comment. Again, if you want to speak on agenda items, these are items that we voted on earlier today. You're welcome to come forward. You can share your name, the city that you live in. You'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak. We do have some meeting expectations up there, so we ask that you comply with those. Again, public comment is for this body to hear your comments. We don't answer questions. We also ask that you direct your comments to us and not to anyone in the audience. All right, you're welcome to come up. You'll be given up to 3 minutes to speak, and you can see the timer right here.
Commissioners, Madam Mayor, City Attorney, City Manager, good to see you all again. My name is Ivan Diaz. I'm a current County Commissioner for District 20, covering portions of the south side of Grand Rapids and Wyoming. I am speaking to item X1, the Three Towers project. I'm not going to repeat a lot of what I said in the public hearing a couple of weeks ago. Most of you were there, and if you were not there, I'm sure you listened to the comments. Except to say this, during your committee of the whole this morning, some of you referred to the Factory Yards project that has been approved and is ongoing in my district as well. I think that that project perfectly encapsulates why comparing these two projects and what they bring and do not bring to the table is incomparable, frankly. The Factory Yards development has affordable housing built into that project. The Three Towers project does not. And so besides that, I would like to thank you, Commissioner Perdue, for your courage and for what you believe is right. Or I guess, Madam Mayor, I would like to thank Commissioner Perdue for her vote. It takes courage to vote the way that she did. And I would like to say to Commissioner Perdue that if anything, I would take heart in knowing that I believe that after the new year, half of your colleagues will be gone, and the people who replace them, I believe, will be much more in alignment with your priorities and the things that you and we are trying to achieve in this city. Madam Mayor, to the people who are in the room with us tonight, to the people who are watching this live, or to the people who will watch this someday, I would like you all to remember today's vote, today's conversation, the things that have happened today already and the things that are about to happen. And I would ask you all to remember those things when election time comes again, and when some of the people on this commission are up for re-election or election or whatever else they choose to do after their time on this board, not only at the city level, but at the state and federal level as well. There is a new generation of leaders who are rising up, who are taking our city, our county, our state, and our country in a different direction. I cannot wait for the day where those leaders show up, take positions of power, and transform not only the governments that govern us all, but also the consciousness of the people. Thank you.
All right. Others wish to be heard?
How you doing, everybody? I'm D. Jones. I'm here to speak on the Brownfield project. First of all, I do believe there should be a community benefit agreement. I think that this is a very significant amount of tax dollars that's coming from our community. This already is one of the worst cities for economic development for African Americans. And I don't think, it has gotten a little better, but it hasn't got significantly better. And I have an issue with, I don't have really an issue with the project, but just the lack of care for the community. It feels like people have been struggling. I rode my bike here and stuff like that, so I see the unhoused population even earlier, just because I just try to stay humble. I understand that some people don't have a house, some people don't have a bike. If they do got a bike, it's probably under a bridge or somewhere where they're sleeping at next to it, because that's probably all that they got, in a couple blankets and sleeping bags. I think that is really sad that that you guys couldn't increase this. I believe that y'all could have put additional funding into affordable housing. We need at least like 34,000 units by like 2029, and getting at least $500 million in tax revenue and not thinking of that. I think that the billionaires and people that have proposed this project, I think y'all can do a lot better. I think that y'all should care about the community. I think y'all should stop just thinking about filling the pockets of billionaires, because I care about the African American community, but I care about the poor white communities too, and the Asian communities and the Hispanic communities. I really do believe that y'all can do better. Like I said, I don't have problems and issues with people developing projects, because I've been here a long time. I've been here like 8 years coming to the city council consistently, and I've seen a lot of projects pass. But this is this is probably going to be the largest project in city's history, and I think that we have a history of just looking over and just turning a blind eye to the significant economic disparities of the people of color and just the community overall. Like, I think if you guys poured into the community, I'm a big believer in karma and positive energy. I believe if you guys invested a significant amount of funding into the community, you guys will see the benefit, and people will stop thinking that billionaires don't care about the community. I believe there are billionaires that care about the community, but I believe there are people that don't. And y'all probably happy that, the Republicans got the state a little bit and things like that, because then y'all could push this legislation. But it's people that's going to fight back and stand up and want to see equitable economic development. I don't think that nobody is really bashing a project. We just want to see equitable economic development and fair opportunity for everybody to grow, and just not, just the rich white people around here. I don't think people have an issue with people being rich, but we got a significant amount of funding from tax revenue that's going to this project, and I think y'all can do better.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening. My name is Maurice Vernon Barnes Jr. I'm a former Grand Rapids police officer from 1978 to 1991. I like to greet Commissioner Bean. I like to take my hat off, and I'm going to do it right in front of him. Mr. Washington, I got so much respect for you for how you treated me here after all of the negative things I've said about you on Facebook. Man, no, seriously, you've made me look at you at a different level of respect just because of your character and demeanor. Thank you. And I have someone up there I love much, Anita. We go way back from childhood. I was a good friend of her cousins. I'm concerned about the towers. I'm from the inner city of Grand Rapids, 623 Lafayette. I was there all through high school and grade school. I was Grand Rapids Press boy over at Madison and Wealthy, College and Wealthy. I remember the Herald newspaper, the Grand Rapids Press, when they were on Fulton. And it concerns me that we're making this investment into this endeavor, and it seems that we have terms of non-affordable housing. So my term is, what about those people who can't pay $3,000 a month? We just got one project going on right now where it is documented that some of the, I guess they're hockey players are paying, what, $3,000 a month or more? My people can't afford that based on the economic situation that we have and the levels of socioeconomic status. We do have a class system here in America, upper class, lower class, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to try to give you that type of lesson. But that's what I'm concerned about. I would love to see Grand Rapids move forward with this endeavor. But I'm asking the council, how much of that money comes back into our tax base? How much does the contractors and the owners and the developers cash out at in comparison to my people being homeless down there on I think it's Commerce Street, James, where we used to hang out at. You know, I was a hoodlum too, but so I lived in Meltrata, Michigan. I ate a dégagé, sat on the ground of a guy's kitchen after being a police officer and becoming a stone drug addict, heroin, cocaine, opium, and whatever else I could get. I sat on that cold ground, so I know what they're feeling. So no matter what their situations is, if I can come back and stand like this, being an Albion City Councilman for 8 years, of doing a lot of great things in my life, they afford more than that. But hey, brother, I respect you, man, and I can't say I'm sorry, but I respect you. You have a good night.
Thank you, Maurice.
Much love.
All right, others wish to be heard.
Good evening, Mayor, Mr. Washington, commissioners, staff, fellow citizens. I want to address resolution approving Bridge to Our Future, the Grand Rapids Community Master Plan. My name is Daniel Scott, 30-year resident of the city on the west side. But my real identity is I'm a follower of the Lord Jesus Christ. I went online today and read what's part of this master plan, and this is what it said under the heading of themes. Equity, where all residents have access to resources that allow for opportunity, influence, positive life outcomes no matter what their starting point is. The Holy Scriptures proclaim the starting point is conception. Safety, point number 2, where all people are secure and protected in all communities no matter where they live or come from or what they look like. I would appeal to you that means the unborn as well. Point number 5, sustainability. Balancing growth, environmental stewardship, and well-being in a way that fulfills current and ongoing needs and opportunities of future generations. This would include the unborn, in my opinion. If this community master plan does not include the unborn, then you cannot call it the Grand Rapids Community Master Plan, because you are not including our most vulnerable and defenseless citizens. And they are people in the unborn, in their mother's womb. Back in 1850, black slaves in America were called non-persons. In 1945 in Europe, Jews were called non-persons. Today, the unborn in America is called non-persons. I close with this scripture. In thee, O Lord, do I put my trust. Let me never be put to confusion. And this could be a prayer from the unborn. Deliver me in thy righteousness and cause me to escape. Incline thine ear unto me and save me. Be thou my strong habitation whereunto I may continually resort. Thou hast given commandment to save me, for thou art my rock and my fortress. Deliver me, O my God, out of the hand of the wicked, out of the hand of the unrighteous and cruel man. 425 East Cherry, murdering children every day. And now the mothers are dying as well. Let's stop that and include them in this master plan.
All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Sessa. I'm a Ward 2 resident. I'm here to comment on the proposed transformational brownfield plan for the Three Towers project at Fulton and Market. And I want to make it clear at the top that I support this project. And what I'm here to talk to you today is not related to my support of the project, but how the city has communicated with the public regarding the TBP and specifically the Affordable Housing Agreement. So by the state legislation, a binding affordable housing agreement is required to capture 100% of state income and withholding tax under a TBP. The amount of the affordable housing contribution of $8.5 million relative to the state income tax capture has been represented in different ways in different documentation from the city. So there's been inconsistent communication in the publicly available information on the City Commission's meetings portal regarding the percentage. It was correctly presented this morning to be 6.25% of the state income tax capture this morning in the committee of the whole meeting. But the presentation itself is not publicly available, so unless someone watched that meeting, they would still have incorrect numbers. In addition, because this agreement is required for 100% capture of state income and withholding tax, the developer is only pulling from the income tax capture. So 6.5% of the sum of these two revenue streams would be just over $15 million, nearly double what is being proposed. So what has never been explained is how the developer landed on this number, why they chose to base their contribution on the single revenue stream rather than both that are required by the legislation, and why 6.5% was considered to be the right number in the first place, and why this contribution is made as just a contribution into the Affordable Housing Fund instead of, setting aside a certain number of units to be rented at below market rate. So I bring this forward because I'm really not trying to be pedantic or like a stickler for the right information, but I just think that for advocates like myself who support this project, you're making our jobs harder because now I not only have to demonstrate why I support the project, but I also now have to defend your numbers and reasoning, which can be incorrect, inaccurate, or just not well reasoned. And so for a project of this scale and magnitude, it's absolutely essential that all information is correct and accurate. And to do less is risking giving the impression that not everything is being done above board, which I don't believe to be the case. So I think it's in the city's best interest to ensure that the correct, accurate, and thorough information regarding this project is presented as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your feedback. All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening. I'm James Jones, co-pastor at Oakdale Park Church and part of Together West Michigan. If I can ask all the Together West Michigan to rise at this time, if you're here. Thank you. As our city commissioners prepare to vote tonight on the Fulton Market and Three Tower project, we are here to restate the call for a greater benefit for public investment and greater transparency in this and future projects, which is a must. First, I want to thank Commissioner Perdue for taking such a strong stance on behalf of the Grand Rapids families, calling for exactly those things. And we also thank Commissioner Goy for asking what else can be done to strengthen the public benefit. Commissioners, on the other hand, we want to remind you of your role and the role of the developers. The developers' mission is for their constituents, for their stakeholders, for their investors, period. That's who they represent. Commissioners, on the other hand, you work for your constituents, and your job is to represent their best interests. That's your job. I don't have to tell you, you know that. Together West Michigan does not oppose this private development. We believe a good deal can be made on this project that benefits the investors and the public. And what we do oppose is the embarrassing small contribution of $8.5 million total to the Grand Rapids Affordable Housing Fund as the affordable housing component to this project. This is extremely disparaging. The $500 million is requested for public money to reimburse investors for a private development. Let that sink in for a moment. That $500 million goes back to reimburse the investors for private development. The public conversation around this enormous amount of public money has also been disturbing, not transparent. There has been no explanation as to why affordable housing contribution cannot be a greater, except that the numbers don't work out. Our understanding is that even the city commissioners who are being asked to vote on this proposal has seen little, if any, financial information to justify this.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Your time's up. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate the time.
Appreciate it. All right, others wish to be heard?
Hello, my name is Tom Sciarrino, and I live in the 3rd Ward in Grand Rapids, city of Grand Rapids. I've spent the last 20 years of my career as a Chamber of Commerce executive for the Flint Chamber of Commerce, the Ypsilanti Chamber of Commerce, Corning, New York, and Sierra Vista, Arizona. And now here I am back in Grand Rapids again. When I first moved here in 1974, I can tell you downtown was very depressing, almost a ghost town. I go downtown now, and it's so exciting, it's unbelievable. So this development, we definitely do support. I think it's a fantastic thing. My concern is, and I've heard a lot of things about numbers tonight, is the contribution to affordable housing. I think that's just way too small. I currently live in one of the 14 houses that were damaged by the water main break June 13 this summer, and this caused hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage to the residents. My wife and I still cannot use our basement. This is 6 months past since this happened. I have 2 neighbors now that are still having problems. One is with their furnace and with their water heater, and it's getting close to winter, as you know. The water main break was caused by the failure of outdated public infrastructure in an underinvested area of the city. These residents, and ours is one of them, our homes were flooded, and they're still paying for it. We're still paying for this. The residents whose homes were flooded are still paying. Public infrastructure like a water main is one of the things that public money can be used to address. If we're going to have new downtown development, we've got to have infrastructure. Also, if you're going to have development, you got to make sure you can take care of what you already have. And I'm not sure that's happening in the 3rd Ward. So the city is proposing to send $500 million in public money to reimburse 70% of the cost of this development. Now, I do understand economic development. We call that leverage, and that is significant leverage. I've never seen anything like it before. And I hear a lot about numbers tonight, and I can't help but think of my former economics professor when he said, you know, Tom, the thing about numbers is this: they're just like human beings, and if you torture them enough, they'll tell you whatever you want to hear. And I think that's been going on here. So I just want to say, for the record, this is a great development. I know that we have been torturing the numbers, it happens, but we need to look at this $8.5 million or 1.5% out of this entire package going to affordable housing. I think we can do better than that. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Courtney Phillips. I am the Secretary Treasurer of United Food and Commercial Workers, Local 951. I'm here to talk about the Brownfield development. Local 951 proudly represent, what? Oh, I live in the city of Lowell, but our local is based out of Grand Rapids, and we service members all over this area. So Local 951 proudly represents over 31,000 workers across the state of Michigan, including the Grand Rapids city area. We are the largest private sector in Michigan. Our mission is to improve the lives of our members, their families, and all working people. That's why we're joining together West Michigan, calling on the Grand Rapids City Commission to make a better deal for the working class families of Grand Rapids and the state of Michigan. Public money helps with utility bills, emergency rent, emergency food in months where the paycheck doesn't cover the bills because your car broke down or worse, you had an emergency. We have many examples of that within our membership. One example is of a member who fell behind on rent when she was hospitalized during a miscarriage. Her rent fell further behind as she was recovering and was unable to work. This resulted in her losing her apartment. She put her name on subsidized housing lists, but they were very long and she could not find anything affordable in the meantime. She is currently unhoused while waiting for something to open up and working full-time in the city of Grand Rapids. Some people have said the Three Towers development as it stands is a good deal because part of the tax money to reimburse developers will come from state tax returns, so it doesn't really matter. I can tell you it does matter. It matters for grocery workers, retail workers, and food processing workers we represent, and all others who call on a regular basis wanting to unionize. In a state where 41% of households live paycheck to paycheck, this is a huge deal. If taxpayers are expected to pay the price for most of this development, and we are, we need to send more public benefit into return. We stand in solidarity with Together West Michigan and call on Grand Rapids City Commissioners to negotiate a stronger public benefit from this project. Show that this can be a win for working class people too, or delay the vote until you can negotiate a better deal. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Satori Spicer. I'm in the city of Grand Rapids, and I'm here to talk about the Three Water Project. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak today. The City Commission is entrusted with representing all people of Grand Rapids. Our city vision is clear: to be equitable, welcoming, collaborative, with a strong economy and a high quality of life for everyone. Your mission as leaders is to elevate the quality of life through strong governance. So tonight I ask that this project align with that vision. Is it serving the people who need it the most? We've been presented with a project that allocates $600 million in taxpayer dollars, yet only 1% goes towards affordable housing. 1% while we're in the midst of a housing crisis. And then we have neighborhoods such as the Third Ward that's constantly ignored. I'm a hardworking mother of two, and I'm a hardworking mother of two with a college degree, and unfortunately, it's just not cutting it. I live paycheck to paycheck just like many others here in the city of Grand Rapids, and we're doing all I can to make it by. And then we see projects like this that are being pushed to be developed when we aren't getting anything, such as what Tom said. I had went and knocked on doors canvassing with Together West Michigan, and I met so many families who have problems with infrastructure, but we're going to give their taxpayer dollars to a project that has condos with a studio apartment that's starting at $2,600 for 450 square feet. That's insane. And a lot of people in your city cannot afford that. I want to give thanks to Ms. Perdue for sticking with the people and trying to make things right for us, hearing us out and doing her part as well. I know that's a hard position to be placed in, and maybe one day I could run as commissioner and work alongside of you and with people that align with your values of helping the people here in the city of Grand Rapids. I ask the rest of the commissioners to really think about this, to really think about the people that you serve, and I want to thank you again for your time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Smith. I serve as the pastor of Messiah Baptist Church of Grand Rapids. I'm grateful to be here, walking along the side Together West Michigan. And I don't want to beat a dead horse. I mean, we all know the numbers. We all know the process. I just want to remind those of us that are willing to listen, simply because I'm in the midst of it. We as a church are in the midst of a development in the Third Ward. And that Third Ward project is scheduled to, right in the nows, it could cost around $15 million to do 51 units of apartment building and 20 units of housing that can be purchased, because we don't just believe in rentals, we believe in home ownership. So if that project is going to cost us $15 million and $8 million is the projection for some kickback for an entire community, the math doesn't quite add up. We're dealing every week at our church with individuals who are looking for help. I have individuals, most of them looking for help. They're making about $20, $25 an hour, and the math just doesn't add up. Every month they're in arrearage, and we're doing our best. And I'm sure a lot of other churches are doing their best to help these individuals, help these families, because they're working. They're trying to do their best. But it almost sometimes seems like a slap in the face to see programs like this, where it seems like our people are seen as commodities instead of communities. And I'm asking us to consider ourselves less, of a business model if it's going to hurt people, and more of a community model where we can help people reach some of these goals. And I'm glad to say that I don't just talk about these things in public. I talk with our commissioners to make sure that they understand the sentiments that our not just our parishioners, but our community members around the church are expressing to me. They're looking for, the only reason I'm here because they look for me to be their voice, because they don't feel like they're being heard. And I feel proud to be a voice, but I'm asking that we don't see our people as commodities, but as communities. Thank you so much.
Mayor, Commissioners, it's good to see you again. My name is Reverend Lynette Sparks, a resident of Wyoming, and I am senior pastor of Westminster Presbyterian Church here in downtown Grand Rapids, where we serve so many Grand Rapids residents who don't have enough and who come to our church every single day for assistance. Tonight, you are voting on the transformational brownfield project. We know the numbers. Before I wore this collar in a previous career, I did capital analysis for what was at the time the largest company in the world. And I can tell you that on a project this size, $8.5 million is a rounding error. And our residents who can't afford housing need more than a rounding error. Now, we have to do better. Now, let me say, we are happy to see an increase of $20 million towards minority, women, and micro local contractors in the creation of this development. That is almost double the original commitment. And we applaud all of you commissioners who pushed for more. And we hope commissioners will still choose to make an even better deal for our Grand Rapids families and require more public benefit for this public investment. At the end of the day, because of the attention and the public spotlight that Together West Michigan has put on this issue, we believe we have had one of the most significant public debates ever in this city about a significant development and a huge amount of public investment. We have brought many public voices across the city to bear on this issue that would not otherwise have been heard. And we think that is worth recognizing. Public investment means public accountability. That's how this works. And of course, it creates tension. And it creates discomfort. And that is necessary in a democracy with people who have different opinions to reach creative breakthroughs. It is our commitment that today is the end of business as usual. At Together West Michigan, we will continue to watch and shed light on what benefits the public is getting for our public investment. We will continue to fight for resources for under-resourced communities. We are paying attention, and our members will remember what happens tonight when they vote the next time around. Thank you.
All right, others wish to be heard?
Mr. Gordy here. Commissioner, Mayor, staff. Some of you will not have to deal with me again. You're on your way out. I'm getting older too. But yeah, you know I'm passionate about affordable housing. But I don't want to, belabor the point because I think this project is already a done deal. But there's a couple of things I think we can do yet. If you look over the city, you see a lot of philanthropic graffiti. Rich people putting their names on buildings. Kids do that and they get in trouble. Other people don't get in trouble at all. In fact, recently, Amway, they contributed $33 million of $175 million for a soccer stadium. And in return for that 19% they gave, they get their name on a building for 25 years. That they have, in fact, what I read in the paper was that they made it conditional on getting their name on the building. Okay? So I think we can do the same. For $565 million of $735 of taxpayers' money, I think that's 77%. We should have the right to put our name on that building. Okay? The Triple Towers here. I could say, hey, looking around at you guys right now, I can think of good names. Blissful End. O'Connor Oasis. Getaway. Or Purdue Palace. They sound great. In fact, I'd even suggest Mr. Gordy's Gorgeous Getaway. Or if the public really got innovative, I think they'd call it the Fulmar Flophouse. But we know where the money is there and but that, I think we can make it additional, that the public get the right to say something about what the names go on there in exchange for 77%. One other thing is the trail along the right of way along the river. Okay, I think that's part of it, and if we can only have them work with GR Inc. and help it develop that. Those are a couple of things I think. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Always good to see you. All right, others wish to be heard?
My name is Jocelyn Barnes, and I'm 28 years old, and I have lived in Grand Rapids my whole life. I'm commenting on item X1. For the record, I'm bashing this project, and I don't know y'all from Adam, so I'm keeping my hat on. I am speaking to you as someone who loves her city and her Lord. Romans 12:14. Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not. People of all colors and creeds that live in my city can't pay their rent right now. People who look like you, like me, are sleeping on the street. The revenue you want us to look forward to when these buildings come to fruition ain't convincing our landlords to let us stay. We must do better. And affordable housing and local resources for our children and for each other. Our municipality invests more in buildings that wind up vacant than it does on regular people like you and me. As citizens, we spend more time fighting each other than solving problems together. We spread false witness about our neighbors more than we love them. My entire life, I've been in and out of affordable housing while living in GR, and it has sucked. I was raised by my white single mom under Section 8, which is to say I've moved around more than is fair for a growing person, and I know the future you're creating for young people here, and it sucks. And I don't appreciate it. And I don't think that any of you have done enough of your job today. Just FYI. This year, I moved out of a one-bedroom on the main floor to a three-bedroom flat on the third floor of a giant Heritage Hill home, and it could have been a nightmare to do so since I don't have a car and most housing options are so expensive. Moving usually means tons of fees I can't afford on movers or a U-Haul or boxes or deposit or whatever a rental company is legally allowed to charge me. It could have been enough stress to put me in a mental hospital, honestly, except I live in a cooperative community that actually practices what it preaches, and they all helped me move and helped me remember that actually, no, we aren't just going to continue to deal with the status quo of the poor getting poorer and the rich getting richer. You want us to be grateful for getting thrown scraps towards progress that we, the people, are funding, and you tell us there's no other option, no other way. And this makes the most sense. It's the most logical conclusion a bunch of college-educated adults can come up with. Weird how I'm living proof that you're wrong, that communal housing offers better returns for all than private developments. I urge you to do better. We will all do so when we are in the ballot box next time. Thanks.
Thank you. All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening. My name's Christine Gilman. I'm a resident of Grand Rapids. I also ride my bike around Grand Rapids a lot, and that exposes me to the unhoused citizens of our city on a regular basis. And I'm horrified by how they are moved around here and there all over the city. Most recently, I saw them a tent and a group of people living on the side of 131. At a horrible pitch. So I can't imagine the noise, rumbling, and just the uncomfortableness of that. So I'm here to talk about, like so many others, the Three Towers project and the great need we have to increase the public benefit, particularly the contribution to the Affordable Housing Fund. You know, as I'm riding my bike, I'm often reminded of Coretta Scott King saying that the greatness of a community is most accurately measured by the compassion of its members. This public accommodation does not show compassion. Another hat I'm here to share. My day job, I'm the director of the Dispute Resolution Center of West Michigan, one of 16 centers that provide low-cost and affordable conflict resolution through mediation and restorative practices throughout the state of Michigan. Since 2020, the increase in need for housing mediation has gone up 384%. So daily, we have program managers who are trying to talk between landlords and tenants and to help connect people with resources that just aren't there. The problem is that we don't have enough affordable housing. And I see this opportunity in this project to increase the funds and the contribution to the Affordable Housing Project. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, others wish to be heard?
Hello, my name is Rachel Hyde, and I lived in the second and third wards of Grand Rapids my whole life until last year when I needed to move to Plainfield Township due to lack of housing options within the city. As a social work grad student, I sought deeper understanding about what this Three Towers project really entails. From what I can tell, the TIF-TBP policies do not clearly define what the words transformational, public good, or affordable housing really mean. There are no numbers there. There's no clear definition. The terms are being defined by the developers whose goal it is to profit from their investment. You have the chance to not only make a transformational impact on affordable housing and sustainable development practices in Grand Rapids, but also to set precedent. A project of this size will be viewed as an example across the state. You have the opportunity to set expectations for how public funds can be used for public good. So dig into the spirit of innovation and creativity that we know is here. Find a better way to expand the benefit for the public. For example, can the developers use their other property holdings and their relationships across this community to make significant amounts of additional housing available off-site on top of the $8.5 million that they've committed to? Bring along more Grand Rapidians and set the stage for others to make a difference in the affordable housing crisis in Michigan. Ensure our public tax dollars are used for true public good. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, others wish to be heard?
Hello, my name is Bob Sadowski. I'm a member of the 3rd Ward of Grand Rapids, and I don't normally come to speak before this group, but there are a couple of things that were said at the end of the last meeting by the commissioners that calls me to answer the questions raised. Particularly, the first statement that was made was that some of the commissioners said they had not heard from anyone who was affected by the issue economically. So as a member of the 3rd Ward, who lives 1 block over from where that water main broke that was spoken about earlier, I worry about the infrastructure in the 3rd Ward. And when will taxpayer dollars be given to that as something of import? Hopefully in the next budget cycle. But, you know, the taxpayer dollars are part of one giant pie. So if more money isn't given to affordable housing, which is what the topic is with the 3 towers tonight, then that means there's going to be less money in the overall pie as it is. So that's in response to that statement. And the other part of this, the other statement that was made was, well, we have a choice. We could either accept this as it is, or we could have nothing. And that seems to me a false dichotomy. You know, I know that although I'm a member of Together West Michigan, and I need to say I'm not speaking for the organization, I'm speaking just for myself. It seems to me saying it's all or nothing is not reality. I mean, negotiation means you don't get what you asked for, whether it's the developers or the people. Both sides give. And that's what we're asking for. That's what I'm asking for, is not that you say, okay, we have this group of people and they say they want this and you have to give this, but we have lots of people who are concerned about using our tax money to pay the lion's share of this project and getting so little in return. Can we negotiate something? We might not get everything that we want. I know we won't get everything that we want. But negotiation means asking for more than they're willing to give. And I really encourage this group to not pass this at this time, but just postpone it. And I thank you, and I thank both my 3rd Ward commissioners for the work you've done.
Thank you. All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening. My name is Daniel Miller, and I've been on the board of the neighborhood organization of Belknap Lookout for 6 years. I am not representing the board tonight, but I mention it because I've seen lots of development projects proposed for our neighborhood over the years. The developers go through a process that begins with presenting their proposed project to our development subcommittee. And then if the committee gives its approval, it goes to the Noble Board for its approval. At every stage of the process, there's an opportunity for comment by residents of the neighborhood. They get to express their concerns before we give it a letter of support to the city that we think it's a good project and it should go forward. And then, of course, when it goes to the city, it goes to the Planning Commission, where there's more opportunity for public comment before it is approved. I mention all this because the 3 Towers project, which is more than 100 times bigger than any project I've ever seen in our neighborhood, seems to have gotten far less public scrutiny than any of those much, much, much smaller projects. When this development was first proposed, did anybody in the city consider putting in place a process to notify the public in a timely manner about it, including telling people about the large state and municipal financial contribution? It appears to me that full information about the project only came out after it was a done deal. With all due respect, I do not believe that is a good way to represent the public interest. Whatever you decide tonight, I hope you will develop an approval process that lets all residents of the city have a say in what gets built here and in how the city's tax resources are allocated. Thank you.
All right, others wish to be heard?
Hello, friends. Mark from Grand Rapids. On the project on Fulton and Market. I could care less about how it's going to be funding everything. What I care about is what's going to happen. Because as you know, once the orange man gets in office, he's going to propose tariffs on goods and services imported into this country. And trust me, those building materials for this project is going to come from outside the United States. And believe you me, those numbers that were read out this morning, the total cost $797 million. That's going to end up being 996 plus million. So you better think about this, because everything is going to be high. The rent for them apartments is going to be high. You're talking about $3,250 a month in rent for a studio apartment. And nearly $5,000 for a 2-bedroom. Because we all know somebody's gonna have to pay to offset those tariffs. And if you're not careful, there might not be no occupants in those buildings. In addition, that $8 million or so bucks allocating to our affordable housing, that might not happen due to those said tariffs. So you think it's not going to happen? F around and find out. Thank you.
Others wish to be heard?
Good evening. My name is Ellen Atkins. I live in the 3rd Ward. I appreciate your time tonight. And I'm going to ask just 3 questions. And you said I can't ask them, so I'm just directing them to you. Okay, why the rush for this vote is one of the questions that is coming from my community. Why can't it wait until the first of the year? The second question is, why so little benefit for the taxpayers with so little return? My relationship and the relationship of the people that live in the 3rd Ward is not with the DeVosses or the Van Andels. It is with you, the people that we voted for to represent us. So the final question that I have is, are you okay with the people who voted for you thinking that you already have the money in your pocket to push this project forward? Because that's how it looks. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alicia Leckwhite, and I'm here as a business owner and resident of Grand Rapids. I have a business on South Division in the Hartside neighborhood, and I've been active in the neighborhood association as well as the business association. And I can say, I'm also speaking on behalf of the Two Fulton Project specifically. I'd like to pass on encouragement for the Bamboo team. I've been a fan of the company for many years. They're very community focused. I think they're a very fresh perspective to bring into Grand Rapids while understanding that they are coming in as guests of the neighborhood, which is a huge concern that Grand Rapids residents have with outside investment. So I'd like to bring some reassurance to folks in the room and also to the commission that I've seen them do some real good stuff in Detroit, and I'm kind of behind them on that. That being said, I think that there's a lot of things that we should really consider when such a large development happens right downtown. As we know, that Two Fulton development had an ambitious start and it kind of petered off, and that happens. But in comparison to Detroit, we're a pretty small city footprint, and so. And that's a lot of square space. So I know that they're coming in thinking about activating some of it. They reached out to us specifically to the Hartside Downtown Neighborhood Association and wanted neighborhood input. So I'm here doing that tonight. And I'll say one of the things I wanted to bring up was that many of the faces on the board tonight were also here before COVID when we voted in a quality of life study for Hartside. And so we understand that that was pre-COVID. We're still looking for the same things. The number one thing, I can't speak on all of the 4,000 residents south of Fulton, but I can definitely say that we're still looking for fresh food. So that's been a big issue this whole time for many, many years. And it's still an issue that we're trying to solve. I cannot tell you how many committees I've been on this or groups and just trying to get this together. We got so close a couple times. So. And I'm bringing it up too because South Division, after I've ran a business on there a couple years, I'm actually moving off of South Division. I'm going to Boston Square neighborhood because I'm looking, Boston Square actually doesn't have any co-working at all. And my business is a co-working space, which is what Bamboo is. And so building community spaces is really important to me, and it's really important on where I put my investment. And I want to, I really want to put my investment where the neighborhood is and where it can make the greatest change. And so, so that's just what I wanted to say. The biggest thing is we have dozens and dozens of residents, if not hundreds, that would love to participate in any more feedback regarding fresh food access in the Hartside neighborhood. And I hope that this project, if not that, then can tackle anything else that our residents have been pretty hard pressed for. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alicia. Appreciate that, and appreciated you speaking on Bamboo and your work on Hartside. We will be having a scheduled public hearing for that project, for the Bamboo project, in a little bit after we get through some of our items on our agenda. So if you're here to speak on that project, I'll ask you to just stay put until I open up that public hearing.
Good evening, Robert Metzger. I'm for 312 Prospect Northeast, and I'm on Kennesaw in East Grand Rapids. I'm here tonight. I really don't want to be here. You're all well aware that I hate your guts at this point as a body, and documented for reasons for being so. But I felt compelled to do it because I have a different perspective than most of the people in the audience tonight, and that is history. I want to take you back 25 years, 20 and 25 years, and a certain project that the city, screwed the pooch on, in the neighborhood of $10 billion with a B. And the reason I know that is I saw the letter of credit myself. That project was established to bring 10,000 jobs to the city, 3,000 of which were six-figure jobs. There was a fuel cell power plant for downtown for buildings to be green energy. This is now 20 years ago, where it's now popular today. That was 20 years ago. Also, a subway with 3 stops in the neighborhood of $1 billion for a subway. What hasn't been noticed here is that development also came with 1,500 affordable houses. That development was going to be where the new amphitheater is going now. That said, that particular development was receiving no city subsidy or state subsidy at all. None. Zero. And they were doing that with private money. Nothing from taxpayers. Nothing in the way of inconvenience from anyone. like I said, the city found a way to screw the pooch on that. I'm not at liberty to discuss how or why, because it would probably end this meeting tonight. You would lose control of the meeting, and you wouldn't be able to hold a vote. That's how disgusted everybody in this room would be. So, that said, I'm not here looking at symptoms. Affordable housing is a symptom. I'm here because of root causes. The root cause, what I would rather see, and what I would have loved to see if you guys balanced it out, is announcing a brand new manufacturing facility with $500 million worth of Brownsfield credits, so people can have good jobs with benefits instead of handouts. I'd like to say something that's come to me over the course of 30 years, and that is equity is considering people before you screw them, not afterwards. You people disgust me. You do not represent the city of Grand Rapids' values. And do not thank me for my comments. You tell yourself whatever you have to when you get up in the morning and look in the mirror for the rest of your insignificant, immoral life, you incompetent, malfeasant twit.
All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening, and thank you to all the commissioners and all the officials up front. My name is Ned Andre. I am a citizen of the United States of America. I'm a resident of the state of Michigan. I live in the county of Kent, and I reside in the 3rd Ward of Grand Rapids. And I'm here tonight to speak about the Towers project, not specifically, but in general. It serves as a symbol of what's wrong with America. We're talking at a national level, but all politics are local. This is a city, county, state, and federal issue. And it's about the public good and what's been done to harm the public good in this country. Ever since the Reagan era and Reaganomics and trickle-down economics, we've seen the privatization of the public good. And the privatization of the public good is never positive. When you privatize schools, some kids win and other kids lose. When you privatize hospitals, some people get well and other people stay sick. When you privatize prisons, there's only one way to keep it profitable: fill those beds. And it impacts policy and procedure and culture. And what we see here is the privatization of development. The people who have the money, why don't they spend their own money? In fact, I would say that I don't oppose this project if these developers, they have the cash to pay for the project in full on day one. Demand the cash and then sell it like a reverse mortgage and say, we'll pay you back the community benefits over time. But you pay cash up front on the barrel. And they could do it. And yet and still, it's very easy for them to manage. And when I talk about the stranglehold of management in the city, the county, the state, the country, I talk to the American people and say, we got to stand up against this oligarchy of power-hungry and greedy people who want to privatize every single aspect of the taxpayer dollar. They want to feed at the military trough. They want to feed at Social Security trough. They want to feed at Medicaid, every single common good. And then they manage, they manipulate, they give perks and favors. People that are making decisions may have self-interest. They might be directly impacted. It might be for a buddy of theirs or for a family member down the line. And it's just so easy for them to manipulate us. So I think the most important thing that's happened here tonight is the room is filled with people with good hearts who are residents of the city of Grand Rapids, who, like myself, I love Grand Rapids. Yes, I complain. Yes, I poke Grand Rapids in the eye, but this is a nationwide dilemma that plays out in every city. If you went to Cleveland, Ohio, they're having the same conversation as in Jacksonville, Florida, as in some city in Texas. The people, we don't have the money to stand up, so we pour the common good into our government. This is supposed to be a democracy where egalitarian principles rule. No one person is above another.
Thanks,
The common good has been stolen from us as people.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Jolanda Howe. I live in the 2nd Ward, and Jim, Sophie, and Oscar Howe are also downstairs in the lobby where there's lots of others who couldn't make it up here, who are housing advocates too. I don't have a lot to add to all the wisdom that's been shared, but I do resonate with what was recently said by the gentleman from Belknap about the fact that projects, by the time they get to this stage, there really isn't an opportunity for much sway, much turning of the ship, because there's been so much work done. There's been so many meetings attended. It feels like a betrayal to go back on all of this to change things. And yet, if that's what a public hearing is, then where is the opportunity for the public to give input? It shouldn't work that way. This should be the chance for you to hear from the wisdom of the people, for you to respond accordingly and make changes and address issues and then create a better project. What would happen if you actually voted no on this project today? Would it all just disappear? I don't think so. What if it meant that developers actually found another way to do something better? What if we all gathered back here the next time that this project came up for public hearing and we could celebrate? We could say, wow, you listened. Wow, the money was there. Wow, this really meets all the needs that our community has. Wow, this is so much better than what it was before. Wouldn't that be something? I believe we could do that. I believe you could do that. And I believe that this process could be that if you make bold and uncomfortable votes tonight.
Thank you. All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Thompson. I'm in the 3rd Ward. My husband and I, Jesse Thompson, have lived on Allerton for over 40 years. My concern is the water main break that destroyed our home. It destroyed our yard. We have sinkholes no one has addressed. We've lost all of our furniture downstairs. We have bugs that are making their residence downstairs because nothing has happened as far as the city correcting what they created. We are concerned about the lack of interest for the citizens of Grand Rapids. We are waiting for action. We are waiting to be made whole. We're not asking for anything that's not due to us. We would like to see you help us recreate what we bought with our hard-earned money. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening, everyone. I am Larry Gibbs of the 3rd Ward, and I would sit up here and tell you guys my story about the water main break that has happened and how my house has black mold still, and how my water heater is going in and out still, and how my furnace is on a continuous run. But I'm not going to do that because what's the point? But what I am going to tell you is how they're going to treat you once this happens again, because this will happen again. So what they're going to do is they're going to send you these governmental immunity papers that are going to get sent to your doorstep, and you're going to get mad, and you're going to come up here and you're going to complain about it. Then they're going to drag you guys in one of their beautiful rooms over here, overlooking the city, and tell you right to your face that this isn't us suing. This is settlement negotiations. Make sure you guys know that. Get legal representation so we can talk this out and we can actually go forward with this. So then you're going to leave here thinking to yourself like the city is actually doing a good thing, that they're actually helping you. And you're going to tell loved ones that the city actually cares. And then you're going to go through the process of meeting with the attorney or sitting down with the attorney. And then that attorney is going to tell you that they stand sound on governmental immunity. When we got told to our faces back here in this room that we weren't going to push back against you guys. These are settlement negotiations. And to Joy, I believe that's the city attorney, you can tell her best wishes and happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays. Because we didn't have a happy holiday. So I sit up here, and I know we sat down with Mark Washington. I wish I had the same respect for you like that other guy did when he was praising your. But I know you're leaving for another job, or you're looking for another job. Is it because you've told these lies, and now you're running from them? You guys have did nothing to help us. This is all smoke and mirrors to drain us. We've gotten legal representation. We've gotten spreadsheets. We've got our claim stuff in order. And you guys are still blowing smoke. But you know what? Karma's a you know what. And it's coming.
All right, others wish to be heard? And again, this is still public comment period on agenda items that are on our agenda that we voted on earlier today.
Good evening. My name is Lakeisha Gibbs. I'm here on the behalf of my 7-year-old child who is severely autistic, level 3, nonverbal with dysphagia and dysphagia. And I'm here to talk about, I want to know how the state of Michigan and the city of Grand Rapids is so quiet about a district, Kellogg'sville, neglecting special needs children. I want to know how a child's needs can be disregarded for years to fund a school that did not exist. I want to know how you guys sleep at night knowing that these districts choose where the district money is going and not caring for these children. I also want to know how an insurance company, a major insurance company in Michigan, can help a school district neglect a child. How can an insurance company claim a parent had committed fraud on a public file and had not? I want to know how that is okay with any of you. I would like you guys to understand that his care was delayed. He regressed. There is things that happened to my child that he'll never be able to get back because of the damage of corporate greed and district greed. The city of Grand Rapids, the state of Michigan failed my child for a fair education. And I will not be quiet. I will stand with my child and I will talk and be his voice because he cannot. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, others wish to be heard? Hi, welcome.
Hi, my name is Sean Miller, and I am a former resident of the 2nd Ward, recently moved to Comstock Park, and I am down to here just to talk about the Towers project a little bit. First of all, I think it's a great project. I think it's a great vision for the city, and I think it'll expand our reputation as a destination and bring a lot of good business into the town. But the thing I think is a little confusing is some of the communication about the project. Some of the facts and figures may be hazy to people. I am not a numbers person, and when I look at numbers like almost $800 million. That's way bigger than I can comprehend. But I do a little better with, percentages or, and it seems to me that when I look at, the 1.5% that we're talking about would come back into help with affordable housing here, which is a big problem. And if it's tax dollars coming back in addition to it, how does that how does that set with other similar brownfield projects? I mean, is that kind of what other projects set aside to help the local community? Some of those questions I think people have and maybe just aren't feeling real good that they've got a good hold on what those answers are. So there's also the opportunity cost, because the money that would go back would be a huge amount, and maybe we need it for maintenance. After hearing tonight folks talk about, water main breaks and that type of thing, that's an opportunity cost that when we start giving those tax dollars back to developers, that takes away from what we can do to help our community as well. I understand that some of these incentives have to be made to have people invest. So it's a balanced job, and I think that these are not easy decisions to make. But I guess my question is, I'd really like us to be able to think a little longer. I know that you voted this morning, and I would hope that after this large outpouring, that maybe people would say, maybe we could do a little better job of communicating a little more effectively to answering some of the questions that people brought up, which I think are very legitimate questions. And how can we best serve the city of Grand Rapids and the future? Because it is a good opportunity for the city to have this kind of expansion. But we've got to make sure it's good for our citizens and that they feel good about it and have confidence in each one of you and in our fellows. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, others wish to be heard? I'll have this one be our last comment, and then I'll close our first opportunity for public comment, and we'll move on to our next agenda item.
Good evening. My name is Eric Brown, President and CEO of the Urban League of West Michigan, and lifelong third Ward resident. I'm here to speak about, and I know vote has happened already in the committee of the whole, but I'm still here just to make a few comments about, to raise my voice in addition to what you guys have heard about the Fulton Market project. There's a lot of buzz. We all know it's a lot of buzz going on. It's a lot going on in the news. It's a lot of positive in the news. There's also obviously a lot of concerns about what things are going to go, what's happening. I think I do want to commend the public servants here, have shown incredible strategy with their high performance when it comes to top-down economic development. Excuse me, the amphitheater and the soccer stadium are possible, because the city and county moved heaven and earth to change state law, allowing us to increase our occupancy tax from 5% to 8%, producing another 9-figure subsidy. With these venues secured, Fulton Market is even hotter real estate because hotel guests and residents now have a beautiful view into the amphitheater. These are multi-year projects and would not be possible without public subsidy or public servants doing, honestly, an amazing job for these stakeholders. And I do want to commend you on that part of your compounding strategy. However, I do have concerns with the project. I'm in support of the project with modifications. I think there could be some modifications that could very easily be made to make this a project that's going to be amenable for all stakeholders, not just the developers, but the community who is investing significant millions of dollars into the project and looking for to get their return on investment just like the developers are. Some of my concerns are about the return of investment for the taxpayers. Without getting into the numbers, I don't think it's an equitable return of investment of what the taxpayers are giving, what they're going to get in return. We know the number is 8.5, for 30 million going to 50 million. I'm appreciative to the developers for going to the 50 million. I think we could do more. I think we can do more in both accounts. Again, representing a civil rights organization that stands up for black and brown people that have been historically disadvantaged. This project as it is will continue to create that divide and create barriers that will be much more challenging to overcome. There's other projects that have done well. Factory Yard, want to pull, you guys know the demographic, what do you call that, pro forma on that. There's another project in Detroit that is 1.5 times the size and is seeking about half the public investment. That's a project that we can look to for an example. And then transparency. These are taxpayer dollars. I don't know if the taxpayers have seen a pro forma yet. We've seen things that have been presented, but not a pro forma to know what the return on investment is. We believe that there's at least $22 million in the residential tower alone that can be redirected towards affordable housing. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. All right, we're gonna go ahead. Sir, you can't yell during the meeting. Nope, that's disruptive. You can't disrupt a city commission meeting. This is a business meeting. Sir, I'm gonna ask you to stop yelling and disrupting. I'm gonna ask you to stop. I'm gonna have to ask you to leave if you keep doing that.
I'll leave myself.
I don't wanna ask you, you're welcome to leave, but if you're disruptive, I'm gonna ask you to leave.
I think it makes sense.
Okay. All right, Commissioners, we're going to move along to our agenda items. So next, it'll be our approval of our minutes. We have 2 minutes before us, minutes from our meeting on the on November 13th, which was our workshop, and then our commission meeting on the 19th. Can I get a motion for those?
So moved. Support.
All right, moved and supported. Commissioners, any additional questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, next that will take us to petitions and communications.
Communication received from Marshall Kilgore regarding his resignation from the Vital Streets Oversight Commission.
That is referred to our Committee on Appointments.
Communication received from John Van Fossen regarding his resignation from the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority and Economic Development Corporation.
That is referred to our Committee on Appointments.
Communication from Jim Talon regarding his resignation from the Monroe North Tax Increment Finance Authority and the City of Grand Rapids Affordable Housing Fund Board.
That's referred to our Committee on Appointments.
Communication received from Mary Hannigan regarding grocery store and senior citizen building locations.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Andrew Cartlett, Strong Towns, Grand Rapids, expressing support for bike lanes in Easttown.
That is received and filed.
4 communications received expressing support for the proposed Fulmar Development Three Towers project.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from the Community Relations Commission on businesses supporting the Israeli military activities in Gaza.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from Bob DeBoer regarding hunting on city property.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from Nancy Reitz on the incoming federal government.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from C. Penn regarding a signatures petition for a Miller Penn commemorative street designation.
That is received and filed.
Communication received from Brad Thomas and Joe Agostinelli regarding the Fulton and Market project benefits.
That's received and filed.
Communication received from Julie Hook on the affordable housing aspect of the Fulmar Development Project.
That is also received and filed. All right, next that will take us to reports of city officers, and we have 3 items before us tonight.
A comptroller's warrant report for the period of November 5th, 2024 through November 18th, 2024 in the amount of $17,664,968.37 and the monthly travel report.
That is received and filed.
A treasurer's report for the period of October 30th, 2024 through November 20th, 2024.
That is received and filed.
And a city manager's report regarding Public Safety Committee wildlife management recommendations.
And that is also received and filed. All right, next that will take us to our consent agenda. So our consent agenda are items that we voted on earlier today in one of our standing committee meetings where there was a unanimous vote. So tonight, with one voice vote, we'll adopt those items. Commissioners, can I get a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Support.
All right, moved and supported. Commissioners, any additional questions or comments on the consent agenda? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, next that will take us to items removed from consent. We have one item that is removed from consent tonight. That is a resolution approving a transformational brownfield plan for the Fulton and Market redevelopment project and authorizing an affordable housing agreement. Can I get a motion?
So moved. Support.
All right, moved and supported. Commissioner O'Connor, you want to tell us about this item?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is the transformational brownfield project, which is being referred to as the Three Towers project. This project will consist of 3 buildings containing 671 housing units, nearly $800 million in total investment, 2,500 parking spaces, the creation of nearly 2,000 jobs. The building will be built to a LEED Silver standard. It will have a commitment of $50 million in micro local business participation to support. It'll have $8.5 million committed to the Affordable Housing Fund, and it will open up the green space along the river for public access through the redevelopment by the developer with easements for the public good, and will return nearly $2 million a year in income tax dollars to the city of Grand Rapids.
Thank Thank you, Commissioner. All right, Commissioners, I know we had a lengthy conversation about this morning. Any additional comments before I call the question? All right, all those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Perdue?
Yeah, I'll just reiterate, not everyone from the public was here this morning. We discussed it, but from many of your comments today, I think you all have seen my prior communication and stance on this. And so I just want to reiterate that, I think this is an exciting opportunity for our community, and with the significant public financing, there should be significant public benefit. Over the last few weeks, I've been supportive, and I've been at the negotiating table, we just weren't able to get there. There's been a lot of ideas that were brought up of how might we get there, how might we meet in the middle, how might we ensure a win-win on this project. And so I shared this morning at our Committee of the Whole meeting that even tonight still, if there was any additional movement made, that I will be open to revisiting my support of this project. And it sounds like there hasn't been, and so I will be voting no on this again. I just want to also thank everyone who showed up tonight and really over the last many weeks on this. Your advocacy, your organizing is really energizing and really important. And though we didn't, we'll see how the vote goes, but it doesn't look like we'll be getting the win on this vote tonight, that there are a lot of wins that came from this process, and there are many, many more ahead of us. And so I want to encourage us to stay encouraged, because there's much, much more work to do. And I also do want to acknowledge that there was some movement on behalf of the developers and the owners of this project. 1.1% increase in the inclusion plan. We wanted something higher. Certainly the folks on here who challenged that. But still, that 1.1% increase represents an additional $20 million that would be invested in our local economy, our minority-owned businesses, our women-owned businesses. And so I do want to thank for that there's some movement on this, and I think that's a win that was only made possible because of the advocacy that you all provided and many others that are not in this room. I've heard from every single corner of this community over the last few weeks, from our faith community, our neighborhood associations, business executives, developers, real estate attorneys, the list goes on, and there has been a resounding singular chorus that there is more. And I believe that there could be more, there could have been more. We could have found a way to make this happen and ensure a win-win. But I stay optimistic about what's next, and I heard folks say tonight and downstairs that there is a commitment to continue to engage in this work. And I see an opportunity for us all to work together positively, collaboratively, and proactively, as many folks have shared tonight, to ensure that we can support good development in the city in partnership with this commission, developers, and community at large. And so I'm committed to keep fighting with you and look forward to what's next. For the purposes, for the reasons that I've previously shared, we'll be voting no on this item today.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Sassi?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, thank you for those who came out tonight. And I think, we have our meeting at 10 o'clock, and we have some of that debate there, had some conversations with other individuals. But what I also heard through the conversation today was the continued just feeling about instability in housing. And so I wanted to point out to a couple of different projects that we have made some investment in. When we have a project like this, it comes before us, it's being presented, and then we're had the public hearing, and then had some additional conversations. But, today, we have $1 million in our Third Ward Equity Fund. That was something that I advocated for in my early years on commission. And today, $200,000 was put toward a cultural tour that Commissioner Goey and Commissioner Perdue have moved forward. So continuing to look at ways to add that economic development benefit so that people can go into our Third Ward. I heard that about a lack of investment, and that is something that I certainly have been supportive of and will continue to be supportive of. I think about other projects around the city, talking about both rental and home ownership, whether it be our Community Land Trust project in the Alger Heights, Garfield Park neighborhood, Diatribe's rental project, or the project that Habitat Humanity just a few months ago came before us at one of our commission nights out, as well as looking at other investments related to emerging developer initiatives, most recently at our Brownfield meeting, supporting emerging developers on our Cesare Chavez corridor that desperately needs additional retail space, especially after a long construction season. And next week, and also recently, a well house project that has been invested in by one of our former colleagues, Commissioner Repart, who's leading that work there, again, to provide housing across the entire continuum. And then next week, Carlton Lofts, Community Rebuilders will be having, I think it's 40 units that will come online next week, that is taking the Van Andel Pavilion and being redeveloped into a greater highest and best use. And while I don't have all the details about every single one of these projects, I do want to bring this up because as a commissioner, we have to manage multiple priorities. The priorities that are in front of us on individual projects like this that have, quite honestly, I don't know, maybe they should have named it transformational. I don't know, they should maybe have given it a different name, but, I think we look at that Fulton and Market project, and while it used the same incentives, there were different elements related to particularly being at the river's edge compared to the other property. I also want to talk about some of the engagement pieces, which Dan Miller was at the Noble meeting a couple weeks ago, talked about kind of coming through their land use committee. This project went through the DDA, other processes, our economic development project team, as well as other continued conversations where the developer invited us to be a part of that conversation before it came formally to our Brownfield body. And I say all this because I think when we think about the different investments, it can get really overwhelming to think like, what's the one thing that is going to solve what is challenging in front of us? And what I know for certain is everybody on this body, those of us that are elected and appointed, want the same things. I think the difference exists in how that is going to come to be. And so I do think we have continued choices. We have choices every other week that we come here, and one of the biggest choices that we make as a body is in our annual budget that we have. And so when we talk about $1 to $2 million a year, $200 million over the life of the project in present value dollars, that is significant, especially as a city that is not getting our fair amount in revenue sharing, who is paying more and more for things like our district court and carrying that burden and not being able to use some of those general fund dollars. So I'll look forward to the budgetary process, which will begin shortly after the new year, to talk about what are the priorities. I also see a couple of our new colleagues that are here in the audience, and I'll look forward to you all being a part of that as well. Because I think the one thing that I've learned after almost 5 years is that the best things come from consensus building. What are the things that are possible? What are the things that we could do together? There's a lot of things up here I voted for that maybe I didn't like the full project. I can think about a couple over the years, whether it be related to investments in our police departments, whether it was related to our public safety and health ordinances. And I think the best things in those environments is we came to a consensus about what can be done. And so we all might not agree on the aspects of this project. I do think we'll have that same opportunity to decide what we can do with those budgetary dollars and be able to add those flexible dollars to our general fund. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll just add one thing before I call the vote, and I won't reiterate what my colleagues have said. Just a couple things. One, I appreciate everyone coming out and sharing your perspective and your input and your insight and your opinion. This really is an important process. I appreciate specifically some of the feedback around communication and numbers and confusing information that's been out there related to this project, and we will take that to heart and make sure that we continue to try to improve. But I do want to just reiterate, there have been a number of public meetings related to this project over the last several months. This project is in the downtown neighborhood, so it did come before a public body several months ago, and it was supported unanimously by the Downtown Development Authority and a number of the residents. As Commissioner said, Economic Development Project Team, it was before the Brownfield Authority twice before coming back to this body. And again, those are always opportunities for us to improve as we look at processes and how we make sure that information is shared. And I'll just highlight, in addition to what my colleague said, I see a number of benefits beyond the contribution to the Affordable Housing Fund. This is going to transform an asphalt parking lot where we are getting zero revenue, income tax revenue, local income tax revenue, and also property tax. And, I do think moving from 31 million to 50 million to support micro-local businesses is significant. You take a number of other brownfields projects that we've supported, especially even over the last year, they don't add up to over $50 million. This is a significant commitment to supporting micro-local businesses in this community. Commercial spaces that will be available for minority and women-owned businesses, green space that will be available to the public, river edge connection, trail connection, all the way out to the Oxford Trail. This is a significant, I do think it's transformational, and I think it will continue to add to the vibrancy of our community, and it adds 700 housing units. We need housing units across the spectrum when it comes to affordability, and 700 units in one project is more than the total number of housing units that were added throughout our entire city for the entire year of 2024. Part of the problem is supply, and we need more of it, and we need it across the entire spectrum. And we're doing lots of work around low-income housing and affordable housing. Back before us in 2 weeks from now, we'll be talking about a pilot which will continue to support affordable housing throughout our city, and we'll continue to take up every piece of policy that we can to continue to support those efforts. So with that, I'll call the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Aye.
All right, it passes. All right, next that will take us to City Commission resolutions. And Commissioners, we have a motion to suspend the rules to consider a settlement. Can I get a motion to suspend the rules?
Moved.
Support?
All right, moved and supported. All those in favor of suspending the rules?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, rules are suspended. And so what is before us now is a resolution approving a settlement. Can I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Support. All right, moved and supported. Commissioner Sassi, you want to tell us about this?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Today, a litigation matter of Tinola Carter versus the City of Grand Rapids, a Kent County Circuit Court case was presented to us in our closed session, and the settlement of this matter and all the potential claims that are related to it was recommended in the amount of $100,000, and there is a resolution that is also attached related to this item.
All right, thank you so much, and thank you to our City Attorney's Office who worked on this. Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It carries. All right, next that will take us to our scheduled public hearing tonight, and we have one scheduled public hearing, and I'm going to put those together if I have the support of this body. All right, so this is a public hearing on a request to establish a commercial redevelopment district pursuant to PA 255 of 1978 for 2 Fulton Street West LLC. This is located at 2 Fulton Street West. And then a companion with that is a 12-year commercial facilities exemption certificate for $3.1 million. So tonight for this public hearing, what we'll do is we'll start out with our Economic Development Director, Ms. Sarah Ranero. She'll tell us about this project, and then we'll invite up some of the individuals from this project if they want to add anything else. And then I'll see if my colleagues have any questions, and then we'll open it up for public input. Ms. Ranero?
Great, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. I do have Michael Ferlito and Amanda Luan from Bamboo. I apologize if I butchered the name. And Jared Belka from Warner Norcrest and Judd. So I'm going to give you a quick overview here and then invite the team to come up and comment on why Grand Rapids. So this is at Center City. This is the former UICA building being proposed to be repurposed from an art gallery space into a modern co-working space that requires some reconfiguration of the building to accommodate new offices and event space, as well as a new anchor tenant. This project totals as $8 million, and I just want to call some attention to the number in the memo, referencing a different total cost number in the second memo on page 601. So it's not 3.1 million, but it's 8 million in total project costs with 2.7 million in construction costs. Very exciting inclusion plan, aspirational goals. at 25% or $687,500. What we have before you is a district for a commercial redevelopment district and the exemption. We don't do this often, and so there's not necessarily policy around this particular program, and so we're mimicking other policies and recommending a full 12 years because of the inclusion plan goals at 25% there. Anticipated winter 2025 construction start with the completion in the summer of 25. I'm thinking it's spring of 25 we're starting construction. Is that winter 25? That doesn't make sense to me, but it's late. I'm going to let the team talk a little bit more. I'm happy to answer any questions at the end.
Great, thank you. Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Mayor, Commissioners. Jared Belko with Warner Norcross. Thank you, Sarah, for the introduction. I'm going to step aside and let the Bamboo team talk about Bamboo itself, and then I'll talk about some of the challenges they're facing with this particular building.
Yeah, thanks. Hi, welcome. Good to see you again.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda with Bamboo. We are a Michigan-based co-working operator. We're based in Detroit, where we started 12 years ago, are in Royal Oak and in Ann Arbor. And our mission is to be a platform to help entrepreneurs. So our spaces operate like an entrepreneurial hub. We program that with resources. Our anchor tenant is a local support organization that'll help people start their businesses. We've been working for several years and looking at Grand Rapids as our next location. We have several key partners here who wanted to come together and be a more accessible place to find resources in the community to start and grow your business. We identified 2 Fulton as a potential location and have been working with the community, the Heartside Business Association, talking to local entrepreneurs and small business owners who really want to see this corner and this important space reactivated again for the community. It is a significant project. A big challenge with it is that it was purpose-built to be an art gallery. Many of you are familiar and probably listening have been inside this space years ago when it was active for the UICA. It does require several key areas to transform. It is a significant project. Some of the challenges are the HVAC system needs a complete overhaul, including energy efficient updates to the entire building, significant steel structure to create more floor space. Our architect said it best when she said this building was designed for wall space and not floor space. So it is not usable for workspace right now or much commercial activity, which is why it has been sitting vacant for nearly 4 years in downtown at Fulton and Division. Before getting into too many details, I'll let Jared share a little bit more about this, but we're really excited and hopeful to be a part of this community. We know that there's a vibrant small business and startup community that is excited and looking for more resources and a space to gather as that central hub. So thank you for your time and for taking a look at this tonight.
So I think everybody knows this building. It obviously sits on a very prominent corner. It's unfortunately been dark for about 4 years now. The development team was attracted to this facility. It comes with its challenges, as Amanda said. The HVAC system, it's just a lot of space that is unusable for any other purpose, which is why the building has been listed twice over the last 4 years with no interest in it. The Bamboo team looked at this. They like the energy it brings. As Amanda said, they were attracted to West Michigan. The property is currently owned by the school, so it is off the tax rolls. This would put the property on the tax rolls. In the way this particular abatement works, it cannot have a zero taxable value, so just by this transaction alone would bring the property back onto the tax rolls, and there would be some immediate benefit to the taxing jurisdictions. So the tax abatement is really supporting their investment above and beyond just the building acquisition. As Sarah said, it's about a $3 million-ish investment. A lot of that will just make the space usable. Again, the team is excited about this project, believes it will bring vibrancy back to this corner, and they've done a lot of outreach. We're very invested in that process to make sure everybody's informed about this project. So with that, we'll be happy to answer any questions for you, but appreciate your consideration of this request.
All right, thank you. I'll see if there's any questions. I'll point out this development, which also has a housing unit or housing development on top of it and a parking lot, parking ramp. It used to be an asphalt parking lot in our city for a very, very long time before it was redeveloped into this space. So I think many of us are very familiar with this building and the importance of this location. Commissioner Sassi and then Commissioner Robbins. Let's see if there's any questions down here, and then Commissioner O'Connor.
Thanks. I think sometimes we'll drive past things and say, like, who's gonna take on this building? As the college made changes in terms of and what the nonprofit was able to do. So I had the opportunity to tour the space again. Had some good memories of a lot of things that happened with Amanda. It was I think is from what I can see, has been really intentional about making sure that you're bringing a model that's working in another city and also saying what exists here and how we could add those attributes. So I think we heard that from Alicia, who's also in the neighborhood in the space, and I've heard that from others as well. I think the ability to make this more energy efficient is also appealing. And I know you've been working with a number of their partners to hopefully say, we're going to take this on, but to make sure that you're going to be able to fill the space so that it is at that greatest and highest best use. So as somebody who's in my day job, works in that entrepreneurial ecosystem, we definitely need more spaces that are more accessible, that are larger, to talk to people about capital opportunities, to host pitch nights, to be able to share information. And one of the things that I really also appreciated when I met with Amanda was the willingness to connect to other city departments and other infrastructure pieces that we have, particularly as it relates to our micromobility. So how could this space be a hub? So I know that is something that you're also thinking about and connecting with the folks there. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you again. I just wanted to add real quickly, too, not a question, just a comment, but I had the chance to meet with Amanda a few weeks back, and I think it's, sometimes people in the community reach out and, propose an idea to us or bring something in front of us and say, like, here's kind of what I'm thinking, like, here's a picture, what do you think, kind of thing. But when meeting with Amanda, I was just really impressed by her excitement for this project, just her desire to build community with young, aspiring entrepreneurs looking to, build a business or develop a business and connect them with other resources to augment their success. Even as far as talking about ways that she can, already engage with existing businesses in nearby neighborhoods and bring them into the exciting opportunities that this project might afford people. So I was just very impressed with that. I think mentioned that this building's been vacant for a very long time, and I'm always happy to see when the city can find a tool within our belt to make something work and turn something that's not usable or kind of obsolete into something that could have great benefit to our community. So just wanted to say thanks for being here, and I have appreciated our conversations about this.
Yeah, thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner O'Connor, and then Commissioner Goy.
Thank you, Mayor, and I too just want to appreciate the project. Amanda reached out to me, and we went back and forth a few times. Unfortunately, our actual meeting never happened, but I've had an opportunity to review all this stuff, and I'm very excited about the redevelopment and investment in Grand Rapids, and it looks great. I've been through the building many, many times, and know with my past life in real estate how difficult this project has to be to turn it into something functional and a higher and better use than it currently sits. So I look forward to seeing the results of your significant investment.
All right. With that, I'll have
Mayor.
you. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Goy. I'm so sorry about that. Go
No
ahead.
problem. So I'm excited about the project. I took a tour with you, Amanda, and I thought that was a very creative way of repurposing the building. And you're right, the entrepreneurship culture in this community is very high. I look forward to seeing this come to fruition. I'm also just want to say thank you. I mean, you heard my voice about the inclusion plan and trying to find ways to encourage Black and brown entrepreneurs and vendors to become a part of your efforts here. And I think, unfortunately, Mayor, I should have thought about this when we're talking about the Three Towers project. But here again, when you look at this number, 25% or 687,500, it is going to be part of a challenge when we see so much development, and the increase by the developers for the Three Towers project to go to $50 million is also going to be a challenge, because we have other projects going on where developers are committed to inclusion and willing to use minority and women-owned businesses for participating in the project. And that just means, in my conversation with the Three Towers project developers, they want to go higher, but they also realize that other projects are having a need for those kinds of contractors to be involved in their projects. So I'm excited about those challenges. I think it gives us a chance to, work hard towards creating greater capacity for MBEs and WBEs to participate in many more projects that's going to be part of the city. And I want to thank you, Amanda, for committing to this number for your project.
Yeah, Commissioner, I appreciate you saying that. We just approved on our consent agenda 3 other projects that are receiving incentives. All 3 have inclusion plans that add up to several $1,000,000. And then we also have the inclusion plans for the larger projects with the amphitheater and soccer stadium. So you're absolutely right. There's a lot of demand right now, and I anticipate will continue for the next several years. So. All right, thank you both. I'll have you sit down and I'll see if there are any comments about this project. Again, this public hearing is specific to this project. So it's the project at 2 Fulton for Bamboo. If you are here to speak on this project, you are welcome to come forward. Again, we ask you to share your name, the city that you live in, and we'll give you up to 3 minutes to speak. Hi, welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Good to see you.
My name's Ted Healy.
Hi, Ted.
Grand Rapids. And I'm the founder of Michigan House and Midwest House.
Oh, thank you, Asante.
Hi, everybody. Ted Veely. I'm the founder of Michigan House and Midwest House. Also helped to found Tech Week Grand Rapids. Also, with Amanda, helped to found Michigan Tech Week, the statewide event. So do a lot of work in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And through that work, know that sort of the companies that are going to be building the jobs of tomorrow are not built alone. They're not like solo projects. They need spaces for people to come together. Through all of my experience working with Bamboo in Detroit and around Southeast Michigan, I know that building community is like at the core of what they do, at the core of who they are. I'm very excited about the idea of them having a location here, and I'm very excited about the way they've done it, the people they've reached out to, and the way that they're really trying to bring our community into this larger sort of statewide ecosystem that I think will be building amazing things for us going forward. So really excited about it. Thank you all for hearing about it today. And that's about it.
Thanks, Ted. Good to see you. All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening. My name is Tyler Way. I'm the co-founder of Has Heart. We're a veteran nonprofit organization that pairs veterans with designers, and we help them share their story through art and design. And just last Veterans Day, we opened the Has Heart coffee shop at Veterans Memorial Park, not too far from here. And so I've seen over my career how the power of creativity and community has an impact on the people around it. And so I'm very excited about this development. We redeveloped a vacant building at Veterans Memorial Park that sat empty for decades, and we have seen the revitalization that has had on our neighborhood and our block. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we are happy to be there in the neighborhood. And so I want to be able to have this be the creative hub that Grand Rapids has been missing. I left Grand Rapids in 2017. I traveled, I lived in an Airstream trailer. I was a creative nomad with my wife, and we traveled the country for 6 years doing creative projects around the country, from New York to Miami, San Diego up to Seattle. And we saw in all the cities that we went to, the ones that were vibrant were the ones that the creative community was at the center of. And so I think this being a cornerstone of the city, quite literally, I think it's a huge opportunity for the city to kind of get its creative mojo back. I moved back to Grand Rapids last year, and that reason was because I believed in what Grand Rapids was, and I think post-COVID, I think it can become that. And so I view this as an opportunity for the creative community to come together. I also think there's a lot of challenges with the location. Previously, Has Heart, we had a location on South Division, and we only made it there for 6 months because there was no foot traffic and because of the issues that we all know from South Division. And so I view through this as a cornerstone that bridges the downtown and the entertainment district as an opportunity to connect the South Division and the other parts of town that are neglected. And so I encourage the Bamboo team to continue to reach out and to build that community and have this be the place where that can happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tyler. All right, others wish to be heard?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Atlanta, and I work at a creative agency named Carbon Stories, and we're based on the west side of Grand Rapids. For the past 10 years, we've been dedicated to telling stories and capturing content that connects with audiences. And when we travel to Detroit, Bamboo offers us a great workspace. We were actually there last week. We were reflecting on the past year and setting goals for the new year, and we're so excited to have their team come to the west side of the state and bring that energy over, and also capture their story along the way. Outside of Carbon Stories, some friends and I are a part of a nonprofit organization named Plug that stands for People Learning, Understanding, and Growing. And as a tenet of the new space, we are aiming to provide tools and resources for creators and young entrepreneurs, kind of acting like a modern-day media library for innovation and creativity. Sorry, I lost my note. But outside of that, I just want to thank you guys for your time, and we're so grateful to be a part of this next step.
Thanks, Elena. All right, others wish to be heard? Hi again.
Hello again. My name's Alicia White. I'm reiterating my comments from the previous line. Now I know I'm in the right line. That's great. So I just want to reiterate, since 2010, when I started freelancing myself, I've gotten really ingrained into the freelancing communities, especially the creative communities. And as I got to know business owners, and I saw people go from creatives to business owners to owning quite a significant project or business, so many of these folks, they raised the funds themselves, they crowdsourced, there is no imagination for assistance at a certain level of entrepreneurship. I think this is something that Bamboo has really helped figure out in Detroit, and is something that we are still lacking in Grand Rapids. And I've put a significant amount of my own investment, up to about $700K in research and development, and trying out 2 previous spaces and running into the same investment issues. I'm here to just reinforce that I believe that the future for creatives, and many of us are just like doing it ourselves with our own money at this point, right, is to bring, so sorry, that sounded really good and I just dropped it. Damn. Well, I really wanted to say that I've seen the investment on South Division. There's so much investment in nonprofit, and those are addressing a lot of our issues, but it ultimately, as I've seen it on the street, it comes down to activation. Once there's stuff in the windows, even for a small amount of time, people get excited, people check it out. I've never seen South Division this active, and I really want to make a shout out to all of the business owners that have chosen South Division, and I chose South Division with my business too. It didn't financially work, but I still consider it a success because I learned so much more about the street. I learned how to balance the issues of the neighborhood with actual business services. Like these are things that we are still grappling with downtown, and I'm very, very excited about the opportunity to have some bigger investment into creatives. Thank you.
Thanks, Alicia. All right, others wish to be heard?
Hi, everyone. I'm Bryce Kaiser. I'm a tech entrepreneur who lives in Spring Lake, but Grand Rapids is my startup community, my startup hub. I'm a product of the Grand Rapids startup ecosystem. Many years ago, I won $5,000 at a Star Garden pitch competition, and that jump-started my career. And fast forward to today, and I've successfully exited a business, and it's changed my life. It's been fantastic, and I want everyone in Grand Rapids to have the same opportunities that I've had. And over the over the last few months, I've had the privilege to go around the state and interview founders, and I ask every one of them what's their biggest challenge, and time again, I hear it's the on-ramp into the community. Where do I go to find people like me who are doing crazy things and trying to build something that matters? And having a place like this project will help solve that problem and make a very clear on-ramp, a very clear place to go if you want to build something that matters here in West Michigan. So, I'm here to show support for the project. And one consideration is that, every early stage startup struggles with cash, and every penny matters. And so keeping this space as affordable as possible for individuals so more people can access it is important. So any way that we can reduce those costs for the people who will be participating in the space is important. So that's all. Thanks.
Thanks, Bryce. All right, is there anyone else who wishes to be heard on this project? All right, seeing none, I'm going to close that public hearing. This is going to be referred back to our committee of the whole. All right, commissioners, that will take us to our last opportunity for public comment. So if you were here tonight to be heard on any other issue, you're welcome to come forward. We ask again that you share your name, the city that you live in, and we'll give you up to 3 minutes to speak.
How you doing, everybody? It's D. Jones with another fire speech from the heart that I didn't write down. So I am definitely excited for our $10,000 partnership with the Safe Pitch Task Force. I'm actually going to be on Channel 8 News Thursday live on the TV station, actually speaking about the Jump Ahead Play Fuel esports activations and partnering with the school district and the Urban League. I'm very excited about this, not just because the city invested $10,000 into this, but these esports activations that we're actually going to do. The school district is actually going to further invest into these esports activations, actually developing an academy where they actually open up their film and video lab, where they'll open up their music studios, where they'll open up one of the 6 esports labs that I helped and advocated for 6 years for the school district to build, but also the basketball court where a lot of, we have traditional sports, but we never really, I can't really see my time. I know I ain't got 8 seconds. That's crazy.
D, tonight is your lucky night.
So I'm very excited to speak on this just because I've been able to truly develop something that's actually going to be sustainable. So the first year we're going to have 1 esports lab, and then the second year we're going to open up 3 esports labs for these activations in the academy that they're going to continuously build. And then year 2 they'll be utilizing all 6 of the esports labs and continuously building esports labs, because I said we got 4 high schools here around here, and y'all need to have esports labs at every single high school, because you'll always have seniors leaving every single year. Those kids can be competing and earning a college scholarship. That increases the access to this equitable education, and I'm just very excited because I'm a black person, I'm an African American, I'm very proud to be African American, and I'm happy to pioneer the gaming space, the tech space, because I'm truly going to create equitable economic opportunity and do this as best as I can to the full passion that I have in my heart, to be able to reduce violence, to keep kids off the streets during curfew times, to just increase the equity and truly equitable access to opportunity for our students. Working with the Urban League, who stands up for African Americans and people of color. Like the disparities and inequities that we have in our city, I've been studying and doing a lot of research. I got accepted into Harvard for the entrepreneurship program, so I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about. I know I'm going to change the community. I look forward to speaking to the people from Tech Week and all of this stuff, because I am the pioneer that put us on. You guys will see me on the news on all of these different platforms. I just shot a production called Gamers. We actually sold out 2 theaters in Detroit. We had one of the largest radio stations in Detroit actually co-host this thing, and it's going to be big. It's actually, we're speaking to Netflix. It's going to be on Tubi. It's going to be on a lot of streaming platforms. You guys are going to see me nice Cartier framed up Gucci bucket hat, looking nice, because who doesn't want to look nice in a production, and who doesn't like to wear luxurious things? You feel good when you got luxurious things on. I don't care who you are. And so I'm excited because all of this goes into the Esports Academy, and the school district actually opened up their esports labs and their film and video studio and their music studio, and we're going to have people that actually work in these spaces educating the youth. So I'm not one of the people that sold dreams. I'm one of the people that took the city, everything, all of the knowledge, all of the complaints and everything that I heard from my community, and I utilized this to build something truly unique that's already having longevity. That's going to be, you guys are going to hear about this. The school district ain't even do the ribbon cutting yet. So I'm just excited because I know y'all gonna hear about the stuff I'm doing. The billionaires, the DeVosses, the Van Nandels, I don't care who you are. I'm coming for the globe. I'm coming for the global competitions. I'm coming for all of that stuff. I'm coming for global change, global equitable economic development. I'm coming for all of that because I know the city needs that. The city deserves that, and the people deserves that. We all deserve equal opportunity. And also, a couple days ago, this 3D printing company that 3D prints houses contacted me and told me that it's a new person to contact, and I would love the 3D print houses that attack the housing crisis. Eventually, I'm going to get the funding to develop those 3D houses and attack the housing crisis, and I won't be seeing unhoused people around my community. Eventually, that's going to happen. Right now, it's not going to happen overnight, but you guys hear the passion. A lot of good things are coming from this community, and I'm really excited to change the education system, our county, our city, our state. A lot of beautiful things are going to happen, and the news stories are definitely going to be out there. Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
I don't know if I can follow up on that, but I'm going to try. This is my first commission meeting I've ever been to. I've been here for 68 years.
Oh, well, welcome.
So this is my first one. I'm nervous, but I want to talk about the deer population that you guys talked about. I came here this morning and waited like 2 hours, and I thought I was going to be able to talk to you guys about it and stuff.
During
you
the
know.
briefing, sorry.
And then I came tonight, and I had to wait another 2 hours to get to talk to you guys. So I'm on a 2-hour schedule right now. But anyways, I just want to talk to you about it. I lived in my house for 33 years. And I live on my property, butts up to your property, and I'm scared because I got 2 grandkids right now, but I raised my kids there, and we used to go sledding behind that property there because it's such a steep incline to go down to Bristol there, So we used to go down there all the time. Now I got 2 grandkids, and you're gonna have hunters in there. I'm almost afraid to walk out my door. Because I don't know, those guys were telling you those bow and arrows, once they leave that bow, if they hit a branch, they could go anywhere. You don't know where they're going to go. And I don't want to be in the woods or something when something like that happens, and I just think there's a better solution for you guys. Why can't you go to like the city place where you dump the leaves and stuff off and have that open on Sundays? Let them guys shoot them deers if they want. I don't care. I just don't want them in my backyard, And I don't know how to explain it to you as a father and as a grandparent, I just don't. If I lost my grandkids, I'd just die, So that's all I got to say.
Yeah. We'll have Asante follow up and get your contact information so we can follow up. Yeah. Safety is really key for us. Hi.
Hi.
Mr. Gordy, good to see you again.
Good to see you guys. I'm here to thank you all for your public service. It's been years. For some of you, it's been a long time. You've been around a long time as a commissioner and as a mayor. So I especially want to thank you and the other outgoing commissioners, Mr. Goy, and even you, Mr. O'Connor. We've had our differences, but I still appreciate your public service. So thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Gordy. All right, others wish to be heard?
Hello, I've been here before. I was here at one of the other commission meetings, and I don't come here often. I've been here often, and my name is Matthew Scott. I've been a lifelong citizen of Grand Rapids for 29 years, and I just wanna say thank you for everyone who came out tonight, and I wanna thank you for for the officer of police, Mr. Winstrom. Got many people at two churches, especially Division. Mr. Burnorth speaks highly of you, and we do too. And we just want, we just want keep up the good work, and Jesus is coming back, and we better be ready. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Matthew. Of course, I'm Daniel Scott, and I want to stay with the theme of being grateful. We just had our national holiday, and of course, the scriptures tell us to be grateful every day. So every day should be Thanksgiving Day, especially to the Almighty Lord God, who gives each of us life. And of course, the Lord Jesus Christ, who died on the cross to give us eternal life. But we must first call on Him by faith to save us, and He promises He will. For those of you that are leaving, Commissioner Goey, Commissioner O'Connor, Mayor Bliss, don't know what your plans are, but, and all of you, I understand even after tonight how difficult your job is. You can't please everyone all the time. But I have been here many times, as you know, and I do sense this. I do sense that each of you really care for your constituents. We disagree on some issues, of course, but overall I can see where you really care. And I can appreciate that. And wherever life takes you, I hope as you walk that path, and if it's according to the scriptures, may the Lord bless you. I also want to thank Police Chief Winstrom. I do agree with his recent raise. He promised me a cup of coffee now. Chief Brown, Fire Chief Brown, he's not here tonight, but his representative. And also the security, Jason, who is not always respected and accepted for what he does. But thank you. Thank you. And recently had Veterans Day. If there's any veterans in the building or hearing my voice, thank you for your service. Thank you, City Manager. Thank you, City Attorney. And again, if any of you have any prayer requests, personal, family, concerning your work here or anywhere else in your life, I'd be happy to pray for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. All right, others wish to be heard? Hello again, Mark.
Mark back. Well, let's not hope the state of Michigan, the attorney generals in this state are not like the attorney generals in Missouri, Kansas, and Idaho. They are talking about suing the FDA for distributing an abortion pill. And they want to keep girls ages 15 to 19 pregnant and force them to get pregnant. We're talking about children here. And they go try to do it. In addition, in Idaho itself, they have passed the reproductive trafficking law, saying that if any doctor who helps a pregnant woman cross state lines to get an abortion for complications or anything else, they could face prison. And trust me, this is just the beginning of what's going to happen. When the orange man takes over. So, people, you better be ready, because it will happen. They're going to force every state to do what they damn well please and go against the will of the people. Look at this administration. Got a lot of nut jobs in there. So like I said, 4 years is going to be hard. It's going to be tough. Now is the time right now. If you're not organized and mobilized, you better do so, because 2026 is going to be more important. Yes, there will be roadblocks. But in order to defeat what's going to go on, you got to challenge the roadblocks. So mobilize, organize, get your people together.
Thank you, Mark. Time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you. All right. Others wish to be heard?
Good night again. Good evening again. Still Eric Brown, still with the Urban League and still from the 3rd Ward. Still with the Urban League as far as I know. I just came, I come before you guys on various occasions, many times commenting on things, economic development, things as it pertains to the city, and we'll continue to do that. Today, I came earlier in not in support of a project in that state, not against economic development. We know economic development has to happen as we grow in the city, but the thing is that we just want to make sure it happens for all. You guys hear me say that often as well. I just want to remind the vision. I know you guys probably have it committed to memory, but Grand Rapids will be nationally recognized as an equitable, welcoming, innovative, and collaborative city with a robust economy, safe and healthy community, and the opportunity for a high quality of life for all. The Urban League of West Michigan has been around for over 8 decades, advocating to make sure that what you guys aspire as a city actually takes place. We will continue to be here doing those things, working with, as we have now as far as business development for minority companies, affordable housing, equitable development, crime intervention, and so on and so forth. We will work with the city to help the city achieve its mission. We will also be here to hold the city accountable, as it is my job as the president and CEO of the Urban League and the people of West Michigan, in particular in Grand Rapids, that we serve. We continue to make sure that it's a place, that last part of the city, the quality of life for all. So I just implore you guys, and the reason why I opposed earlier was because I think we can, not that it was a bad project in concept, but I think we could just do better. That was simply the reason why. And I've challenged you guys to think and do better. Is we have to think and do differently. It's called a transformation of the project, specifically earlier was transformational brownfield. I know there was banter about, what that means. We got to make sure that we're transformative for all in every aspect. And when I haven't sat in you guys' seats, but I could imagine the difficulty and the decisions that you have to make. I just implore you, when you make those decisions, keep everybody, maybe even in some lenses and perspective that you're not in, seek those other lenses and perspectives so that you're able to make decisions that will be inclusive for everybody. We all know with inequity, who's going to be harmed, who's going to benefit. Keep those before your forefront of your mind as you're making those decisions. We'll be here to help you. We'll be here to help guide you, and we'll be here to hold accountable where appropriate. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for your work. All right. With that, I'll close public comment, and I'll turn to my colleagues. Commissioner Knight, you want to start first? Is that what your hand's up for? Sure. All right. I'll start with
I
you.
knew you were
I
going
usually
that
don't
way,
start in the
so,
middle, but I will.
you know.
I'm going to start with you tonight, Commissioner Knight. Take it away.
So, yeah,
I'll hop around.
I waited and, just listened and soaked in all of the conversation from tonight. And some decisions are very difficult. It really is. And a number of things have gone through my head as I sat here this evening. I listened to the comments from the community. I've always encouraged that. I will continue to encourage that. I think sometimes people forget that we still live here. I live in the second ward resident, the city of Grand Rapids. My name is Lisa. I still live here, right? And so the same things that we sit here and talk about and deliberate about and ask questions about and sit in meetings about and have negotiations about, it impacts us too. We're part of this community. And so I do not doubt for 1 minute that myself and those around me have those same mindsets and thoughts. I wake up like a rebel every day, always wanting to challenge the status quo, because at the end of the day, we have a job to do the best possible work for all people. And we cannot be all things for all men, all at the same time. And so there's always that rub against what do we do? Well, at the end of the day, it's trying to do the best possible work for those who we serve, because this job is a service job. It is work on top of all the other jobs that we do. I'm grateful for the increased investment in our community, especially around the entrepreneurs and the new entrepreneurial space. Being an entrepreneur, a business owner, and a hardworking woman in this community as well, that is something that I'm very passionate about, and helping and supporting our Black and brown businesses, but small businesses in particular, because that is the lifeblood of our community. Those small businesses, that innovation, those dreams and those desires that people put their life's blood into to make something so that they can leave a lasting legacy for them, their family, and for their children, and for those who come after them. So I'm grateful for those investments in our community. And then also, thank you, Commissioner Sassy, for bringing up the other developments, the low income and affordable housing developments that are happening in our community, because I think sometimes when we get under the weight of such heavy things that are going on in our community, we forget about the other things that are really happening, and they seem like it's not really happening because they're smaller, but they are adding. They're adding to what we need, and those are the things that we do need. So I'm grateful for the groundbreaking that's going to happen, the ribbon cutting, I think it's next week, for those units, those 40 units of affordable housing, 40 units of affordable housing. I think we may have missed that in the conversation tonight. That's really important, because it is happening, and we do need a number of things to help our community, and I think we're moving forward. Is it always the best possible situation? No. We are not always going to get what we want. We're just not. But if we fight and continue to stand our ground in the things that we do want and let our voices be heard, I think we can continue to make change in our community and for our future. So we all stand with you. We all are here to support you. I will have conversation, cookies, coffee, cake, candies, junk and stuff with you, and we can go back and forth all day long. But at the end of the day, our hearts are with this community. And I hope you all believe that and understand that and know that we are here to do the best possible work that we can to see change for our future.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Goulet?
Thank you, Mayor. I think this is probably going to be my last time, or we have
No,
another
we have
meeting?
one more meeting.
Oh,
2 weeks.
I can't
Don't get
wait
ahead
to
of
look
yourself.
forward to it. Oftentimes, my wife says, well, how did your meeting go? And I said, and then nights like this, we just long, and you hear a lot of different opinions, and I kind of like it. I enjoy it, and I've said this from this, not pulpit, but from this dais before. Is it a pulpit? All right. Yeah, there you go. Our family fled a country where you couldn't do this. So this is great. And I appreciate everyone that's come out. I appreciate everything that's been discussed and said about different issues, and especially the project that we're talking about today. But you know what? Oftentimes, as I sat in the seat for this short period of time, we don't get to tell you everything that really is going on. That's good because we get caught up in other things. And I want to tell you that I have been honored to be here. I've enjoyed working with everyone on this dais. Every one of us have the best interest at heart for this city. And so I want to just tell you that, in spite of what we felt was a hard conversation around this one project, there are many good projects like Commissioner Yazazi talked about and Commissioner Knight talked about. And I want to tell just one thing I want to share with you because I'm really excited about what is going to happen and what is happening already in the Third Ward. Commissioner and I have worked for the last 7 months, and we have worked with individual leaders in the Third Ward. And we are ready to present, and I have presented this already to the city manager, but it is such an early stage. I don't even know if I want to tell you, but I'm going to only because I think you need to know that there are wonderful things happening. There are good things happening in this city. We are ready to present to the Third Ward, to the city manager and to the new incoming administration, $100 million new investments into the Third Ward. We already have in place 5 projects that are owned. 4 of them are owned by African American business leaders. Those 4 projects, 4 or 5 projects, in total is already going to bring approximately, potentially close to 80, 90 housing units, as well as commercial space and opportunities for new minority-owned, women-owned businesses. But we're focusing on increasing and a commitment to increase and strengthen the African-American business, because the data shows that is where we need to make sure that there is intentional investment in that community. And I'm excited about it because, we talk about all these other stuff, and yes, they're important to talk about, but this $100 million proposal that we're going to push for before I leave is going to bring, within 2 to 3 years, 300 housing units, affordable housing units. And our goal for that, and hopefully the next administration will continue that effort, and I'm sure Commissioner Perdue will make sure that gets forward as well, is that as many of those projects, we are going to identify entrepreneurs from the African American community. There are rich assets in the African American community in the Third Ward that has been untapped, and I think it's about time for us as a city to make sure that we intentionally invest in the Third Ward and into the African American business community so that they can contribute as well and enrich all of us because of their contribution. So I'm excited to have been a part of this process. I've enjoyed my work here and as a city commissioner, and I look forward to seeing great things continue to move on from the new administration and from the people who are as passionate about the well-being of this city as each one of us here sitting tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and really appreciate all that you've done during your time serving with us. Thanks. I'll go to Commissioner O'Connor.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. And, I think obviously today in supporting the transformational brownfield, that's been something that's significantly talked about in the community and amongst the commission and the administration. We've made a vote, and I believe that it's going to be a transformational project for our riverfront and our community. But I think one of the things I think I'm even more excited about than that was the conversation today around the pilot. And, for a number of years, we continue to say we need more tools in our toolbox to address affordable housing at all scale, including homeownership opportunities. And I'm very appreciative of the conversation and the presentation from staff, but also the dialogue on the dais today that actually I think made it even better and made it have an ability to help even more people, both in terms of changing some of the requirements so that it can apply for homeownership, that it can work for small-scale investors, that it can work for our existing nonprofit housing developers and nonprofit property owners so that they can keep the properties that they have affordable for an even longer period of time. And so I think that, in combination with a bunch of other significant changes that we've made, including zoning changes and the other brownfield tool that now is going to be allowed to be used for housing, I think these are the types of tools we've been saying for 9 years that we need, and they're finally coming to fruition. And we all know that a project of the magnitude of the transformational brownfield is going to take 5 years to get to full completion probably, but these other tools that are in place, I think, can pay dividends in the short term in a much more significant fashion. And every unit helps and every unit counts. And so I'm really looking forward to the next meeting, my final meeting, to have that conversation. And I think that's something I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a yes from all of you on and seeing that be something that we can really celebrate as continuing to move good forward.
Thanks, Commissioner. Appreciate all your work over the years on housing. I'll do the same pattern. I'll start in the middle, which I rarely do. So Commissioner Robbins.
Playing popcorn.
And then I'll end with Commissioner Isasi.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I think there's a similar theme tonight because I wrote on my paper other things that happened today and made a list just to remind myself. But no, I think what's been said is correct. Being a commissioner is a hard job. We're faced with a lot of tough decisions week in and week out. And I think there's never, a project or a proposal that comes before us that meets 100% of every, request, demand, ask that we look for. And I think if we can find things that fall within the 80-90% range and, move on that and continue to make them better over time, I think that puts our city and our community in a really good spot. So I hope that's what was reflected tonight in my vote. But yeah, just reiterating too, I think the pilot program, I really want to reiterate that. I know it's probably not something the average citizen within Grand Rapids is familiar with or how it works, but when we talk about, mechanisms that can really make an impact on affordable housing, being creative with the authority that the city has to use some of these tools, I'm super excited about that. I'm looking forward to having it come back before us again in December. And then just highlighting a couple other things too, the wildlife management plan. I know that's something that's been talked about, or I've certainly heard about the past 2 years being around this table. We passed the city master plan too. I think that was this morning, right? It feels like a long time ago. And also hearing about an exciting update on the river restoration too. So I just never want to lose sight of all the other good things going on in our community that are the result of a lot of hard work from a lot of staff, community members, legislatures, state, federal level, all that together. I think it takes a lot of hands and a lot of minds to make a city as great as we have, and I'm just grateful for that. So,
yeah, thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Perdue.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. Just want to reiterate my thanks for folks who came out, not just today, but over the last many weeks to engage on the conversation and the ask related to the Three Towers Riverfront project. Obviously, I'm not happy with the outcome of the vote, but I am very happy with what we were able to achieve together. And I think, again, and we all should be really proud that there was movement. This is not normal. This has not been our norm, but I think this is a launching pad, and this is a open door to create a new norm of partnership, meaningful partnership that is positive, that is collaborative between developers, the community at large, and this commission. And I'm committed to that, and I'm looking forward to leaning into that. On another issue that was brought up earlier was we heard residents who were directly impacted by the water main break. I'm not sure if any of them are still in the room, but I know they'll probably circle back and listen. And so I just want to share publicly that I have not lost sight of this issue. I just actually talked with our attorney's office earlier today. What's the update? And kind of looking to connect some dots on some additional information to make sure that we can be ready to be responsive and support residents as much as we can. So I do just want to share that I certainly have not lost sight of that, and that my heart goes out to everyone impacted and doing everything within my personal power and capacity in this seat to support them through this office. And with that, I hope everyone had a great holiday. One more formal meeting before the end of the year, and I do hope that all of us get some rest and recovery, so that we can hit 2025, hit the ground running, because we have a lot to do. There's going to be a lot of new energy on commission, lots of major issues ahead of us, and I'm excited for the dialogue, I'm excited for the movement, and I'm excited most of all to keep working with you all. So keep showing up, keep mobilizing, keep leaning in, and let's continue to work together. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Isasi.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, colleagues. I think I said enough about the Three Towers project, so thank you for listening during that time that we had right before the item that was removed from consent. I would also say, Commissioner Goy, I'm excited to hear what some of your thoughts are and how we can utilize the tools that we have in our Economic Development Department around our emerging leaders, our corridor improvement authorities, and other different, tomorrow we have our first meeting of the Land Bank. And so how are we able to use the tools that we have that are existing that more people can know about these investments across the city. So I'll let you buy me a cup of coffee before you're done. I want to say I see one person in particular, because I think I really appreciate the discussion, the conflict. Conflict is healthy. Conflict is not abuse. I think a past commissioner gave me that book when I started on commission. And I just want to say thank you for those that have engaged in really productive conflict. There was a couple of years there we didn't have a lot of productive conflict, and quite honestly, just name calling. You can disagree, and you can. I mean, I think you can even say like you think I'm dumb, but some of the rhetoric that I heard tonight, it is, which is very minor. But I just have to say it's not okay, and it kind of harkens back to a time when that happened a lot, and. I appreciate those who came, who disagreed with us, and kept it about the issues. And I see you, and I'm looking at you, John, right now. Thank you for being such in a moment of vulnerability where I was really frustrated, and I was tired, and I was just tired. And I really appreciate, I just want to say I appreciate you and for seeing me and others as human beings. We don't do everything perfect, and I appreciate that, and hopefully we'll continue to center humanity. And mostly I just wanted to remember somebody else in community as we think about how fleeting this world is. Many of you know Wendy Marty, a longtime advocate of arts in Grand Rapids, who was never not seen, I think, without her beloved husband, Edgar, 30 college residents, and she passed away unexpectedly right before the Thanksgiving holiday. And I'll remember her appreciation for the city, support in a lot of different events, and just remembering people in community who have made Grand Rapids what it is. So thank you and have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you. What a loss. Deputy City Clerk, City Attorney, City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I wish to express my gratitude to the staff for all the work that has gone on to make this meeting possible, and of course your deliberation over some very big things today. And I don't want to minimize the things that went on today beyond just the centered project around the Three Towers, but certainly that is big in itself, transformational, but discussing policy issues that we can't solve alone, such as wildlife management. The state has to play an important role in that. The county has to play an important role in what we did today was lead and not follow, and we still have an opportunity to learn around that, but I want to thank you for being open to that, as well as the things we were talking about, housing. I mean, this is a regional issue, and we have to do our part, and I appreciate the recognition of all the projects that we're doing in the city to help with that, but also on making this a safe city. This is probably the lowest year of violence in terms of violent crimes thus far in terms of homicide, and I appreciate the effort today to approve additional violence reduction measures with the civilian-led effort, as well as the staffing of additional officers for the police department through Grand Rapids Community College. We have long talked about diversifying the sources of staffing, both from Grand Valley's Academy, but also GRCC, and we're doing that now. And just the housing policy work, again, I think Commissioner O'Connor mentioned that. These are not light issues, and they're not easily contemplated, deliberated, and decided and implemented. And so I appreciate the work from both the staff and the dais in doing that and putting this together, and I'm grateful for that.
Thank you, City Manager. And I will add my thanks to everyone who came out tonight. I've always said it's really what makes our city such a special place is that people care deeply. Even when we disagree, I know and I never doubt for a moment that people love this community and they care about their neighbor. And I've always said it's what makes it really special. As some of my colleagues said, these are tough issues. We don't always get it right, goodness knows. We do our best. I've always said since I got elected, almost 19 years ago now, that I'm going to do the best that I can with the time that I have. And that doesn't mean I'm always going to get it right, but I promise I'm going to give it my all. And really be blessed every day and be grateful for sitting in the seat and be able to serve our community. And Mr. Gordy, you brought a tear to my eye. I was your commissioner for 10 years, mayor for 9. I love our community. You know that. I've sat with you so many times over the years. So thank you. Thank you. I know many of us feel this way. We don't do this work because we expect thank yous, but some days when we hear it, it means more than others. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. In the spirit of the holidays, I hope you all get time to spend time with family, those you love, reconnect, refresh, recenter, and just give back in any way that you can. So thank you all for being here.